This is Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles from Safe Harbor Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Cory provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles.
Welcome back to another episode of Financially Fit Radio. I'm Cory Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group and Wealth Advisors. If you'd like more information about today's show, feel free to give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And while you're on our website, feel free to check that radio page. You can listen to previous episodes, as well as you can also subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or Spotify. Also, feel free to check out today's show on our YouTube channel. Just type in Safe Harbor Retirement Group. You can watch today's show, actually any show here in 2024, as well as subscribe. And you can also keep up to date with our short videos that we put out on different types of financial topics. You know, we're here to address any inquiries you might have, and I just want to remember that anytime you schedule a meeting with us, meetings are complimentary. There's no financial obligation. We're here to help and guide you to make sure you have the best retirement that you possibly can. Well, today we're going to talk about something that I don't think a lot of people truly understand, and that is how you can utilize life insurance as different types of strategies in your retirement, plan. I think a lot of people just don't understand life insurance. We're going to talk about that. But before we dive into that topic today, let me introduce to you my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. Tony, how are you?
I am doing great, Cory. Thanks for having me on the show today. And it does sound like you've got a great topic lined up. I think that a lot of people don't understand life insurance and strategies for their life insurance. A lot of people get into life insurance they don't need, or are underinsured and need insurance they don't have. And they don't understand the new policies that are so much better for the consumer, like the hybrid policy. So I'm glad we're talking about some of these strategies today. I do want to say I've been so busy. I say this every week, but it just gets worse and worse up until Christmas, I think. Just too much going on. How about you?
It is busy. Tony, this is our last show for 2024.
Oh, wow, it is. You're right.
It's hard to believe that.
Crazy.
52 weeks went by pretty quick. But that just means 2025 is right around the corner. I know everyone's going to be enjoying, Christmas, New Year's, all that good stuff that comes with the end of the year. Nothing like being around family.
Yeah.
During all this time.
Yeah.
Good times and bad times, right?
Stay positive. Even when your uncle who brings up controversial topics, or whoever it is in your family, just stay positive and everybody get along. It's the holidays, and it's fun to see family. I love spending time with my family, even the outlaws, the in-laws and the outlaws, right, Cory?
Right. That's exactly right. Yep. Yeah. So, 2024 is coming to an end. So, hope everyone has a great, end of the year here.
Yeah. Happy New Year to everybody out there, and we'll be seeing everybody and talking to everybody again next year with all new shows and a lot of different topics. I'm sure there'll be a lot of changes coming down the line next year. We'll see what happens, but it's been a good one. I have to say this year went by so fast, and I am busy before the holidays, but I'll tell you what, I am glad. It's been a pretty good year. I mean, the market was good. Everything went pretty well, all things considered, in 2024, right?
It did. Yeah. The market's been on a roll here the last couple of years. So hopefully 2025, it's still going to keep going. So, and that just makes everyone feel better about their retirement planning.
Yeah.
When they see those balances go up. So, life insurance.
Okay.
Something a lot of people just don't even really want to talk about.
Right. They think the minute you mention it, they think you're trying to sell them something too, right?
That's exactly right.
And you're not. You just wanna do
Nope.
what's best for them. You're a financial advisor who wants to do what's in their best interests, and a lot of times, that's they need insurance in different areas of your life. You need car insurance. You need house insurance. What's more valuable than your car and your house? Your
But
life,
right. And no one wants it
right?
until they want it.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
Right?
that's the problem. Yeah.
I mean, you just hate paying that monthly premium or whatever you're
Yes, you
paying,
do.
and then
Yep.
at some point in time, it could make sense. Or you're going to see now what the benefit was, for all that. But with life insurance, Tony, the one thing I just kind of want to point to is, there's all these different types of hybrids out there, and I'm going to just
Yep.
talk to you what I mean by a hybrid here in a second. But so there's three things that these hybrids offer. One is death benefit. I think everyone understands with life insurance, if something happens to you, there is going to be a death benefit paid.
Mhm.
The second thing that you can do with life insurance is you can actually have it build cash for you. All that means is it can grow just like a retirement account. And if you do it the correct way, at some point in time, you can take that out tax free. The third part is you can use it for long-term care insurance. There's different types of varieties out there, but the point of it there is long-term care insurance. Now, when I say long-term, that's just not when you actually go into a nursing home. Most of them out there now offer what they call chronic care. So if you can't perform 2 of the 6 daily activities, which means you're probably going to still be at your house, maybe you have someone come in and check on you or anything like that, then that can actually be initiated. So it's a good way to be able to plan for that. Now, real quick, just like I just said, there's death benefit, there's long-term care coverage, there's cash accumulation. When you actually design something for a client, you have to choose what is the priority. If you want more death benefit, then you're not going to build as much cash and you might not have as much long-term care, but it's still going to be there. So when we start working with clients, we have to determine, Tony, we have to put the priority in order 1, 2, and 3. So then we can go out and find the right type of solution for them.
Right.
If that makes sense to you.
It does, yeah. You have it can have those, but the focus is going to need to be on, because it's a hybrid policy, but you have to prioritize within that policy. In other words, it can help you cover long-term care, but do you still want a death benefit if you need it for long-term care? Some policies will use the death benefit then for long-term care.
That's
Some
exactly right.
policies you also have cash value in there. And is that what you're going to use for long-term care? Is the death benefit the most important thing? You want to make sure your loved ones get a certain amount, or do they need a certain amount to cover things after you're gone? Whether it's a business or other things that they are going to need. So yeah, you got to do a lot of planning. You don't just go out and buy life insurance. That's why we're doing the show. I think that's where people get into trouble.
That's correct. And let's face it, Tony, the younger you are, the more the death benefit's going to be probably the primary key because you're
Right.
just trying to be able to take care of your family if something does happen to you.
Yes.
In a lot of cases, the best way to do that is with term insurance, because you can get a lot of death benefit and you can get it pretty cheap because you're younger. But what we see is now as you start planning for retirement, you're coming to the end of the term, right? Maybe you got a term insurance when you were 25 for 20 or 30 years, but now you're 50 or 55, and now you're sitting there thinking, okay, I want to retire now in 10 or 15 years. And what's the one thing that can really derail, your retirement plan? And that is if something would happen to you and you would go into a nursing home or
Long-term care,
or long-term
assisted
care,
living. Yep.
or if you would pass. So the priority in some cases becomes more of being able to preserve my assets so I can take care of my spouse if something happens to me.
Right.
Hopefully you've done a good enough job saving where it's not so much the death benefit, but it's something, it's going to end up turning into maybe you either want to accumulate because maybe you want tax-free money in retirement, or you want to be able to make sure that all of your money is not going to be spent on some type of long-term care if something does happen to you, because that can really derail your retirement, because you have to pay for it if you don't have something else that's going to step in for you.
Right. Yeah, and that is huge. Obviously, so a lot of good can come out of these hybrid policies, especially with long-term care, because that really, like you said, that will derail a retirement, and it's so expensive. And I've said it on the show before. I'm going to say it again because it's front of mind for me, and that's my mom's long-term care costs. They're $11,000 a month. And just think about that. Where
That's
is that
exactly
money
right.
coming from? If you need that, where is that money going to come from?
Right. And, obviously there could be a spin down, and then you kind of get into now you can't afford it. Now you have to maybe go on the Medicaid and things like that. But, in some cases, you really have to start developing that strategy now, so you can plan if something does happen, 10, 15, 20 years from today.
Yeah.
So let's kind of just dive into it. Obviously the death benefit could be your number one priority, and
Yep.
we're an independent shop here. So when it comes to that, if that's what you're trying to accomplish, and we're going to go out and try to find you an A-rated company, and you're going to pay the least amount of premium for the death benefit that you want. It's pretty simple,
Yeah.
right? And that's what we do for some clients. But the one that's becoming more and more popular, what I would say is people are using this now to be able to actually grow their account, accumulate their assets. So we've talked about fixed indexed annuities in the past, Tony.
Yep.
And basically, you can't lose money when the market's negative. So we always say, zero's our hero, right?
Yep.
You didn't
Principal
lose, you didn't make
protection.
any money when the market's down, but you didn't lose any money either. And really, life insurance, if you do it the way that we use that, we actually use fixed universal life insurance, and it works the exact same way. You're paid out on either an annual, either usually annually or biannually based upon market conditions. You only get the upside of the market. So there's and normally when we start talking about cap rates, which is basically how much you can make if the market does well, life insurance usually has higher caps than annuities, which means you can make more money in life insurance. If you do it the right way, what'll end up happening if you're trying to grow it is at some point in time in retirement, now you can actually take money out of that account and it's going to come to you tax free. That's the biggest part, is tax free.
Yeah.
So,
Well, in life insurance in general, the payout is tax free, which is nice, correct?
the death benefit is tax free.
Yeah.
And in most cases, if you set up the accumulation the correct way,
The
it can be
cash
tax free as
value
well.
policy. So the cash
Right.
value policies, that money comes out tax free. So that can be, so what you're saying is you can use a certain type of life insurance policy, if it's a cash value policy, to grow money tax free and use it in retirement for yourself.
That's exactly right. Now, here's the benefit of it, right? In most cases, Tony, if you make too much money today, you might not be able to even contribute to a Roth. And what a lot of people want to do is they want to put money in where they can grow tax free. And then when they
Right.
take it out, you get it tax free. But if you make too much money, then you can't put money into it. Now, you might be in a situation where you can still contribute to a Roth, which is, if you're over 50, it's $8,000 a year. But you might want to invest more money than the $8,000 per year. And the nice part about life insurance is there's no limit. So you can actually contribute on an annual basis as much as you want. And a lot of times what we do, Tony, is we kind of develop strategies where you contribute to this until you retire. So for example, if you're going to retire in 10 years, we can go out and look for a policy where maybe you're paying on an annual basis for 10 years. So when you do retire, you don't have to worry about that payment taking place in retirement, because now you're on a budget, right?
Right.
So again, it's just, if you're 15 years away or 20 years away, it doesn't really matter, but you can always tailor that based upon you want that payment or that premium payment to end when you do retire.
That's
Then Yeah, and then obviously part of the plan is when we started looking at income planning is when do we want to trigger that for maybe some type of income while you're actually in retirement. And the beauty of it, again, if we do it the right way, it's going to come to you tax free.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, does that money that you're talking about in a cash value policy, you can put it, you said you can put however much you want in, there's no contribution limits. Does that money grow in that account? Is
Yes.
the
So
growth?
just like with the fixed indexed annuity, you can invest that maybe like in the S&P 500. You're going to have some type of cap. So you might have a cap, say, of 12 or 13% or whatever that cap might end up being. Every company's a little bit different. But if you have hypothetically, if you have a cap of 12%, that means the most that you can make is 12%.
Right.
Market goes up 10, you're within the cap, so you make 10. If the market goes up 15, then you're going to be capped at 12%.
Sure.
Now there's different types of whether I don't want to get into all the details about the different types of it, whether you get participation rates and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, you can make a good return off of that investment. And the nice part about it is when the market's negative, the worst you ever do is make zero.
So again, your principal's protected. It's not like you're going to lose the money you put in.
That's correct. Now you do have a cost of insurance, Tony.
Well, sure.
Right.
There's a fee.
So
Right?
yes, your principal won't go down, right, because of the money market loss. But the years that you don't make anything, you still have that cost of insurance, which could actually lower your account level or your account balance, right?
Sure.
Right. So obviously, by doing this, really what you're trying to do is you're trying to set yourself up to be able to be in a tax advantage situation. Your growth is going to be tax free. And then when you take the money out, if you do it the right way, it's going to be tax free as well.
Yeah.
And now you have that supplemental retirement income coming to you tax free in retirement.
Nice.
And we talk about it all the time. You're going to want as much tax free income as you possibly can in retirement.
So you're talking about two strategies there that kind of tie in together with life insurance. If you do it right, you can have tax advantage growth and supplemental retirement income. That's huge.
It is huge.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So if
And
our
this
focus
something
again
you've
is
set up for a lot of your clients have this and utilize this, correct?
they do. Yep, they do. Again, it's based upon we have to look at your priorities. And remember, what we're talking about is somebody that wants to actually grow their account and be able to accumulate, grow or accumulate their assets.
Sure.
So that's the priority for this one. So when we talked about death benefit, the one of the things that I didn't really mention, and we'll just kind of talk, but this is just general in life insurance in general, Tony, not just if it's if it's your priority, but now you kind of get into legacy planning, right? Your death benefit could go to you tax free, which is actually, pretty key. You can get into predictable premiums. I think that's very important. And if you do it the right way, then those premiums might only be paid over a period of time, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Because we want to try to put our clients in a position where they're not paying for this for the rest of their lives, if possible.
Yeah, you want to minimize the bills and the expenses they have in retirement.
Right.
Since they're no longer earning an income from a job. Yeah.
That's correct. That's correct. So, and I think a lot of people out there, we did talk about the long-term care, and I think a lot of people out there understand now what the cost of that is. You mentioned your mother's is around $11,000 a month.
Yep.
But I think a lot of our clients today, or a lot of our listeners out there, they're dealing right now with their parents going through this.
Yes.
So they know what the expense is, and that's why this is the right time to be able to learn. Here's the thing that I would really say is when you come in and you say you meet with us about this, we're going to educate you so you can make the right decision for you. Right? You need to determine your priority, whether you want to focus more on that death benefit cash or long-term care. But, we're here to help and guide you just to make sure that, you're finding out what your needs are. And then we're putting together a solution to be able to meet those needs.
Yeah.
And again, the nice part is we're independent, Tony, which means we have access to all these different types of companies. And we can go out and find the best type of rate or, or if you want to, rate of, obviously we're talking about premium paid, but maybe you want to be able to have the best type of long-term care. Well, we're independent. We're going to find you the company that's going to offer you the best type of long-term care benefits as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It depends on your needs and your strategy and your goals. And I like how you sit down with people to figure out what's going to work best for them. It's not cookie cutter, and that's great. But what about the people out there who say, you know what, I'm more concerned about when I'm gone. Maybe I have starting to have health issues or getting older, or I'm pretty sure my spouse will outlive me and obviously my kids. So I want the death benefit is the most important thing. Then you can put more into that and get a policy that's a little better for that, right?
Yeah, in some cases, if death benefit's the key, then obviously we would try to find, we want you to pay the least amount of premium for the most amount of death benefit. And when you do that, you might not have, you might have some type of long-term care, might not, depending on the situation we're looking at. But odds are we're not going to try to grow, your cash value too. So again, it's that priority what we're talking about. But in some cases, it is what you're trying to do is you're trying to leave it to your spouse if something does happen to you, or you're trying to leave a legacy to your kids or your grandchildren or whoever that might end up be. Because at the end of the day, Tony, for for a small premium, you get a lot more benefit to you. And what I'm talking about is a death benefit. You can pay a low amount of premium. And the nice part about the premium, Tony, you might only make one payment. And then something happens to you and they're still going to pay that off.
Yeah, that's huge.
Or you could live 25 years, whatever it is. But again, it's our job to work with you to figure out, what are you really trying to accomplish, and then find the right type of solution for you. And at the end of the day, what is this going to do for you? Really, all we're talking about is finding the right solution. But this is all about for you to be able to sleep better at night. It's a peace of mind, knowing that I have a death benefit, or I have a long-term care policy in place, or I have cash value that's growing, and I don't have to worry about if the market drops 30% tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all about peace of mind. The better that you plan, it increases your success rate. That's really all we're really trying to do. And this is just as one piece or one particular product that I truly believe that people don't understand, but there's a huge benefit that can actually help you achieve what your overall goals are.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's so important to work with a financial services professional. Don't go it alone, or don't just stop by your local insurance agency. Work with somebody who's going to get to know you and look at your big picture, and then really figure out how it's going to fit into your overall plan and retirement income plans as well.
I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, this is just one piece of the puzzle when we start talking about your retirement plan.
Yeah.
And the one thing that you want to do is you kind of want to be working with one person or one advisor that's going to put your puzzle together.
Right.
It's pretty difficult when you have money everywhere, or you dealing with multiple people and you're trying to fit all these try to fit all these puzzles together.
Yeah.
It really is. And I think in most cases, once you find that right advisor that you want to work with, I think they'll put together the right solution for you. And I know that's what we try to do here at Safe Harbor for our clients.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is a good stopping point, Cory, and a good place to let our listeners know how they can do this. Set up that consultation, look at where they're at before they make any decisions. Get a second opinion, right? And have somebody who's going to look at your overall financial picture.
Yeah. For our listeners out there, just give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit our website at safeharboroh.com. In the Columbus area, we have locations, and we have a location in Dublin, one in Easton. You can always schedule a Zoom meeting, or if you even want to do just a the first meeting can be even a phone conversation. Just remember, all meetings are complimentary. There's no financial obligation. We're really here to help and guide you to make sure that you have the retirement that you can. And the best way to be able to do that is to sit down with an advisor like us so we can put together a plan. Or worst case scenario, if you already have a plan, we'll be that, we can be that second set of eyes and provide a second opinion just to make sure that you're on track to have the retirement that you need.
I think that's great, Cory. And listeners, that does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio with our host, Cory Sickles. Thank you for listening to Financially Fit Radio. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, contact Cory Sickles at Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Call 614-760-0670 or visit their website at financiallyfitoh.com.
All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.